and we're not able to trust that the relationship is going to be loving, is going to be nurturing, that our partner is going to be there for us, that our partner is going to be able to support us. Because if we did not receive that in childhood, those are the things that we grow up and expect. Because between the ages of 0 and 5 years old, we basically gain our view of the world through our childhood or through our experiences. Because between the ages of 0 and 5 years old, as I've mentioned in my inner child video, we don't have a filter. We don't have a way of being able to say, okay, this is toxic, so, I'm not going to take this in. We're actually taking everything in as a child, all situations, and that has an effect on us energetically, because those situations do not leave our body per se. So they're still trapped all up within our energy field, right? So doing chakra work, right? And one day we'll talk about chakras and things like that. Your chakras are your inner energy signatures, 7 energy signatures that are located within your body, right? And we can have negative energy, toxic energy trapped within our energy centers. We can have fragmented energy if we dealt with any type of abuse as a child. Abuse is the number one way to basically fragment your energy. And what that looks like is it makes it hard for you to be comfortable within your own skin, right? Also, too, if we were raised in a lot of toxicity and chaos and things of that nature, toxicity and chaos, unfortunately, becomes a part of our norm. So then when we experience something that is not chaotic, that is not toxic, it feels foreign to us. So we tend to gravitate to things that are chaotic and toxic because they feel familiar. Okay, so that's just like some understanding of why it is that toxic at times feels so good, why it is that chaos at times can feel so good or just natural. It's because that's what we're used to, because that's what we were raised in. But as we get older and we start to heal and we start to do our inner work, we start to realize the difference between what things are healthy and what things are not healthy. And in order for us to gravitate towards relationships that are healthy, behaviors that are healthy, choices that are healthy, we have to first recognize the toxicity in order to be able to kind of like reverse those things, in order to kind of like be able to do things differently. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to understand like what was the wrong way in order for us to be able to change and do things the right way, right? So I'm talking about the mommy wound today because I personally, as an African American female, I personally, in my opinion, I do not feel like there is enough respect given to the black woman. And I also feel like black women are not protected as they should be, right? And even statistically, there's more violence, there's more domestic violence, there's more violent crimes committed on African American women. And I be talking to God, y'all. So I was just like, yo, like, I don't really understand, like, where the level of disrespect comes in, why it's so easy for men to disrespect women. But being someone that has a mental health background, I immediately know that the answer has a lot to do with their upbringing, right? So then I'm like, well, everybody that disrespects women doesn't necessarily hate their mother or have an issue with their mother, right? So we have to realize that these things are on a subconscious level, right? So mommy wounds play out in our lives in that there's a sense of confusion, right? Because as a child, you don't necessarily understand why it is that you were not receiving the things that you should have received. But as a child, you don't know how to articulate that, right? It plays out in our self-esteem because, like I said, you may have had a mother who was good at building you up, things of that nature, but if she in turn tore herself down, or if she in turn tore your father down and you were able to hear it, that is actually what's crazy, is that is actually the dialogue that we adapt, right? And that is the self-talk that we continue to play over and over and over in our mind, like a broken record, right? And it's unhealthy. So our self-esteem is jeopardized, right? If there's emotional neglect of any sort, if you didn't feel comfortable with being able to express your feelings, if you did not feel like your feelings mattered, if you didn't feel as if your choices mattered, if you did not feel seen or heard, that affects how it is that we go into our personal relationships, right? We don't trust that our relationships are going to give us what it is that we need. That in turn looks like a fear of dun, 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 a fear of commitment, right? If our self-esteem has been affected in some way due to our childhood, that will affect how it is that we see ourselves. So at times, men will, to overcompensate for the lack of self-esteem, and I say this with the most compassion, the greatest level of compassion ever, okay? So I'm not villainizing moms. I'm not villainizing black men, right? We're just getting to the root of, why it is that we do the things that we do, right? And if we don't get to the root of why it is that we do what we do, then we can't heal, and in turn we cannot change our behavior, or we don't even realize or recognize that our behaviors are dysfunctional or toxic, okay? So I'm saying all this information with the greatest amount of love and care for my men and anyone that is listening to this video, because like I said, I'm here to be a help. We healing over here. We healing over here. We're not pointing fingers. We're not being judgmental. This is a judgment-free zone. We're not villainizing. We're not villainizing anybody, right? So, as divine masculines, that is my primary target group, right? And reason being is I want to talk to, teach, inspire, encourage men that are actually looking to make changes. I was telling a friend of mine, we were having a conversation, and I'm like, some people know that they are here to be different and do something different, right? And then there are other people that, they just really don't. Well, let me back up. Some of us know that we are here to be something different and do something different, but we just may not know exactly how to do it or how to go about it, right? And then there are other people who lack the capacity or the concern with being and doing something different, because basically, like, their purpose on this planet is different from, say, someone who is a divine masculine, or say someone who is chosen